My dear teacher trainees, you are welcome back to my class, and today I'm coming with a new lesson entitled Role of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in Education. So may I draw your attention in this regard? Well, trainees, before proceeding to the day's lesson, let us have a look on some of the basic informations associated with the tribal people in the country. From the available literatures and as per the report of the census 2011, it is learned that some 100 million people in the country used to live in and around forests which are spread in different states of the country to get a part of their livelihood. It is also learned that out of these 100 million people who are living in and around forest areas, 70 millions, I mean 70% of them are tribals, and they are mostly forest dwellers. It is also learned that women in the tribal society plays a very important role, and they are the man earners, they are the man gatherers, and in the tribal society in the country, family is considered as a basic unit around which the social organization of the tribal society takes its form in the country. Yes. Uh, since independence, the government of India, I mean, right from 1947 onwards, has been playing a very important role for improving the socio-economic status of the tribal people in the country, and has taken off a number of programs and schemes in the country. So these include Integrated Tribal Development Project, Nursery Cum Women Welfare Centers, Midday Meal Schemes, Zansala Program, Tribal Alternate Education Program during 2002-2007, scheme of strengthening education among scheduled tribe girls and low literacy districts, incentives for education, construction of ashram schools, construction of pre-matric hostels, construction of post-matric hostels, providing grant in that schemes for welfare of scheduled tribes, scholarships, Tribes India, National Overseas scholarship, book bank schemes, and central sector schemes for upgradation of merit of scheduled caste, scheduled students, tribal research centers. Now the question is, what is the nodal agency of tribals in the country? Well, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs is the nodal ministry for the overall policy, planning, and coordination of programs for the development of scheduled tribes. To this end, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has undertaken activities that follow from the subjects allocated under the Government of India Allocation of Business Rules 1961 and amendments thereafter. The subject allocated to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs are shown in the next slide. Firstly, it covers all tribal people and all areas with tribal population across the country. Second, social security and social insurance to the scheduled tribes. Third, tribal welfare in terms of planning, project formulation, research, evaluation, statistics, and training. Fourth, promotion and development of voluntary efforts on tribal welfare. Fifth, development of scheduled tribes. Six, scheduled areas. Seven, monitoring of tribal supply based on a framework and a mechanism designed by Niti Aayog. And lastly, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes to uh, perform two different things. First, the commission is supposed to report on the administration of scheduled areas and the welfare of the scheduled tribes, and secondly, to issue directions regarding the drawing up and the execution of schemes essential for the welfare of the scheduled tribes in any state in the country. Now, Let me tell you something about the evolutionary history on the creation of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in the country. The ministry was set up in 1999 after the bifurcation of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment with the objective of providing more focused approach on the integrated socio-economic development of the scheduled tribes, the most unprivileged of the Indian society, in a coordinated and planned manner. So before the formation of the ministry, tribal affairs were handled by different ministries at different point of time. First, tribal is a tribal division of the Ministry of Home Affairs, known as tribal division, since after independence up to September 1985. And secondly, as a Ministry of Welfare, as a part of the Ministry of Welfare, from September 1985 to May 1998, and as a part of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment from May 1998 to September 1999. So regarding the organizational structure of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, this ministry has one commission, one public sector undertaking, and one cooperative society under the administrative control, namely National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, NCST, National Scheduled Tribes Finance and Development Corporation, NSTFDC, and thirdly, Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, TRIFED. I think it will be quite necessary to uh, earn certain information regarding the main functions of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Let me touch upon that part. The programs and the schemes of the ministry are intended to support and supplement other central ministries, state governments, and partly of voluntary organizations, and to fill critical gaps in institutions and programs, taking into consideration the situation of the scheduled tribes through financial assistance. So these schemes comprising economic, educational, and social development through institution building are administered by the ministry and implemented mainly through the state governments or union territory administrations. So the ministry also supplements the efforts of other ministries by way of various developmental interventions in critical sectors through especially tailored schemes like tribal welfare planning, policy formulation, research and training, tribal development, including scholarships to scheduled tribes, and then promotion, third is promotion of voluntary efforts in the development of scheduled tribes, and the fourth, administrative ministry with respect to matters concerning scheduled areas. So since its inception in 1999, the ministry has taken up a number of initiatives, uh, out of which mention may be made about Bandhan Samajik Duri Jagrukta Abhiyan. Second one is registration of a cooperative body under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So amidst the COVID-19 crisis in May 2020, the TRIFED, a cooperative body under Ministry of Tribal Affairs, got registered under Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, and this was launched in order to educate tribals in COVID-related safety measures. And side by side, nationwide and state-specific webinars were also organized in order to bring awareness on the issue. And uh, the ministry also revised a minimum support price, that is MSP, for minor forest products, MFP to be procured from the tribals under MSP and MFP scheme. Meanwhile, promoting door-to-door procurement and sale through mobile vans. So the program was launched in association with UNICEF, if I'm not mistaken. Another significant initiative taken up by the ministry is nothing but the launching of the SWASTHYA portal. Yes, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs launched the SWASTHYA portal, which will act as one-stop solution for matters related to health and nutrition status of the scheduled tribes. The Ministry's Center of Excellence for Knowledge Management in Health and Nutrition will manage the portal, and it will be hosted on National Informatics Center's cloud. Yes, the launching of the gold program by ministry is very significant, and the full form is going online as leaders programs. So the ministry has partnered with Facebook to launch a gold program which aims at training 5,000 tribal youths across the country through digital education in order to make them emerge as the village level digital young leaders of their community. And the scheme includes distribution of mobile phones for the promotion of digital literacy and to narrow the digital divide among various sections of population. Another significant activity of the ministry is the launching of the e-newsletter called Alake, and this was launched by the ministry in order to showcase the efforts of various stakeholders which are involved in improving the health and the well-being of tribal population, and it will be launched on quarterly basis. So the implementation of various schemes of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, particularly scholarships, are directly connected with DBT, that is direct benefit transfer. So to that extent, let me tell you something about direct benefit transfer of the ministry. So the Ministry of Tribal Affairs is fully committed to the smooth and the effective implementation of the direct benefit transfer, in short DBT. And this DBT aims to bring transparency, eliminate misuse of funds, and enable enhanced monitoring of the schemes implemented by the government of India. So in DBT, benefit or subsidy will be directly transferred to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries, and the public finance management system PFMH X is the common platform for DBT, and all states governments, union territories shall upload data regarding DBT transactions on the portal for every month by the fourth day of the next month. So in order to ensure real-time financial disbursements directly to the beneficiaries and agencies, and to bring transparency and accountability in such transactions, as also to facilitate data sharing, ease communication, and improve monitoring mechanism. Adopting appropriate digital platform is incumbent as an e-governance tool. So accordingly, Ministry of Tribal Affairs has developed dedicated portals in line with the resolve of the government towards digital India, and to realize the motto of the government to reach the beneficiary directly. Yes. So far, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has taken off a number of common tribal welfare schemes. Under the scholarship schemes, around 30 lakh scheduled tribe students are being covered for financial assistance to DBT mode. And ACES, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, is implementing, a number of scholarships, schemes for scheduled tribe students in the country. To begin with, mention maybe met about the financial institutions for support to centers of excellence. Yes, these financial assistance for support to centers of excellence scheme seeks to benefit universities and the institutions working in the field of tribal development and research. So this scheme was introduced by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, And the main objective of this scheme is to enhance and strengthen the institutional resource capabilities of various NGOs, research institutes, and university departments to conduct qualitative and action-oriented research. Uh, Another important scheme is the scheme for release of equity support to the national and the state scheduled tribe finance and development corporations. So this scheme is funded by the central government and provided by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And another scheme is a scheme of development of primitive tribal groups. Uh, Fourth one is a scheme of grant in aid to voluntary organizations working for the welfare of scheduled tribes. Then we have a scheme of marketing development of tribal products or produce, grant to tribal research institutes, vocational training centers in tribal areas, and centrally sponsored schemes of hostels for scheduled tribe girls and boys. Particularly in education sector, uh, the ministry took much interest in terms of launching of wide range of scholarships. One significant scholarship is the scheme to upgrade merit of scheduled tribe students. So this scheme is funded by the central government, and scheduled tribe students studying in classes 9 to 12 are eligible for the scheme. Another significant scheme is the Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for scheduled tribe students. So this was launched in the year 2005-6 and is dedicated to scheduled tribes only. So this scheme is funded by the central government and is applicable for scheduled tribe students for pursuing higher studies such as MPhil and PhD. Scheduled tribe students can avail this scheme by contacting the University Grants Commission or the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Uh, Another welfare scheme is a scheme of strengthening education among scheduled tribe girls in low literacy districts. This scheme of strengthening education among the scheduled tribe girls in low literacy districts seeks to benefit scheduled tribe girls, and the scheme was introduced by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and the main objective of this scheme is to bridge the gap in literacy levels between the general female population and the tribal women through facilitating 100% enrollment of tribal girls in identified districts or blocks and reducing dropout rates. And lastly, central sector scholarship scheme for scheduled tribe students. So this was launched in the year 2007-8 and is dedicated to meritorious scheduled tribe students. And this scheme is funded by central government and is applicable for meritorious scheduled tribe students who are pursuing studies at degree and postgraduate levels. Scheduled tribe students can avail this scheme by contacting educational institutions and the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Interestingly, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs as a new strategy try to implement some of the important welfare schemes through state societies, through voluntary organizations, and through NGOs. So these are the list of the programs implemented through state societies, voluntary organizations, and non-governmental organizations. So this include notification in respect of five schemes of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs under Section 7 of the Aadhaar on 4th July 17. Then conduct of vocational training in tribal areas, giving grant in it to voluntary organizations working for the welfare of the scheduled tribes, launching of the scheme of the development of particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and lastly, strengthening education among scheduled tribe girls in low literacy districts. So, dear teacher trainees, As you are aware, one of the most important type of scholarships so far launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs is nothing but pre-matric scholarship scheme. So to that extent, let me tell you something more about the scholarship. So this is a centrally sponsored scheme implemented through the states or union territories who are responsible for inviting applications from students online through state portal or national scholarship portal. So funds are released by the ministry to the state governments or union territories based on their proposal comprising of statement of expenditure, furnishing of utilization certificate, and uploading of beneficiary data on DBT portal. The main fees of these schemes are indicated here. It is, after all, a centrally sponsored scheme implemented through states and union territories. This is applicable to students who are studying in classes 9 and 10. Third condition, I mean, fees associated with this scheme is that parental income from all sources should not exceed rupees 2.5 lakhs per annum, and side by side scholarships are paid at rate of rupees 225 per month for day scholars and at rate of rupees 525 per month for hostelers for a total period of 10 months in a year. And lastly, funds are shared at ratio of 75 is to 25 between the center and the state governments or union territories, and in the ratio of 90 is to 10 for northeastern regions and especially category states, and and for union territories without legislature, 100% grant is given by the center. So now let me spell out some more information about another type of scholarship, that is post-matric scholarship. So this is a centrally sponsored scheme implemented through states, union territories who are responsible for inviting applications from students online through state portal or national scholarship portal. Funds are released by this ministry to the state governments or union territories based on their proposal comprising of statement of expenditure, furnishing of utilization certificate, and uploading of beneficiary data on DBT portal. So the salary fees are presented here. It is, after all, a centrally sponsored scheme. Uh, it is applicable to students who are pursuing any recognized courses, professional, technical, as well as non-professional and non-technical courses at various levels, including correspondence courses from a recognized institution, are eligible for the scheme for which qualification is matriculation or class 10 or above. The parental income from all sources should not exceed rupees 2,50,000 per annum, and this scholarship has two components. Yes, two components. First is payment of compulsory fees charged by educational institutions subject to the limit fixed by the concerned state, and the second is the payment of maintenance amount varying from rupees 230 to rupees 1200 per month, depending upon the course of study pursued by the students. And lastly, funds are shared at a ratio of 75 is to 25 between the center and state governments or union territories, and in ratio of 90 is to 10 for northeastern states and the special category states, and for union territories without legislature, 100% grant is given by the center. Third important type of scholarship so far launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in the country is National Scholarship Scheme, top class for higher education of scheduled tribe students. So this is a central sector scheme fully funded and implemented by central government, And this scholarship is given to scheduled tribe students for pursuing higher education in prescribed courses in any of the 246 primary institutes of the country, like IITs, AIMS, IIMs, NIITs, etc., identified by the ministry. And the preference is given to girls, Divyang, and the PBTCs only. And these scholarship is given to 1,000 fresh students every year, selected on merit basis on marks of class 12. So these scholarship is given for the entire duration of the course pursued by the students, where the family income or parental income from all sources should not exceed rupees 6 lakhs per annum. These scholarship amount includes tuition fees, living expenses, and allowances for books and computers too. Another important type of fellowship awarded by the ministry is the National Fellowship Scheme for Higher Education of Scheduled Tribe students. So this is a central sector scheme fully funded and implemented by central government for pursuing MPhil and PhDs in the following, like universities, institutions, colleges included under Section 2F and 12B or 2D and 12B of UGC Act. Deemed to be universities included under Section 3 of the UGC Act 1956 and eligible to receive granted aid from UGC, universities, institutions, colleges funded by central or state government institutions of the national importance. Uh, the salient features of these scholarship are presented here. This scholarship is provided to 750 fresh students every year for pursuing PhD and MPhil degrees selected on merit basis on marks of the master's degree. And the side-by-side preference is given to girls students, Divyang as well as PBTGs. This scholarship is given for entire duration of the course pursued by the student. And interestingly, fellowship for MPhil is provided at the rate of rupees 25,000 per month. And for doctoral research, it is rupees 28,000 per month. And above all, contingency and house rent allowance is also given to fellows as per guidance. Last but one of the most important scholarships so far initiated by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India is nothing but the National Overseas Scholarship. So this central scheme seeks to benefit scheduled tribe students, and the scheme was introduced by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And the objective of this scheme is to provide financial assistance to meritorious students for pursuing higher studies in foreign universities in specified fields of master's level courses, PhD, and postdoctoral research programs in the field of engineering and technology. So the scheme provides for financial assistance to scheduled tribe students to pursue post-graduation, PhD, and postdoctoral study abroad. A total of 20 awards are given every year, and out of which 17 awards are for scheduled tribes, and the remaining three awards are kept reserved for students belonging to particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Uh, Selection is made in such a way that it is strictly based on the merit list prepared by an expert committee, and the student is given 2 years to seek admission in a foreign university after selection in merit list. Another condition is that the parent of the candidate selected in terms of his income should not exceed rupees 6 lakhs per annum. And one interesting thing here is that the scholarship comprises of tuition fee, then annual maintenance allowances at rate of 15,400 US dollars, contingency charges of 1,532 US dollars, and and the poll tax. It includes a visa fee, a medical insurance, a cost of year journey, incidental journey expenses, etc., etc. And this scholarship is disbursed through Indian Mission Abroad through the Ministry of External Affairs, who in turn is reimbursed by the ministry. Dear student teachers, from the foregoing discussion on this lesson titled The Role of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, I think you have earned a wide range of information regarding the history of creation of the ministry, its organization, function, initiatives taken of, various schemes launched, and implementation of the direct benefit transfer, etc. It can be rightly concluded that Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India plays an amazing role in improving education sector in the country through the implementation of various schemes of tribal welfare, particularly student scholarships at all levels. So with this, let me say thank you. Thanks for attending to this informative lesson.